Welcome back to episode 2. We're official. Okay, well, I guess this is the Sister Knitting Society podcast. If you're just joining us, if you're new, I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Grace.
We are sisters.
We are indeed.
It's not just a name, we really are. I live in Noblesville, Indiana, which is just north of Indianapolis. And I live here with my husband, Trevor, and my daughter, Elliot, and my 2 pugs, Francis and Lucy.
And I live in Arlington, Virginia by myself, but my boyfriend lives nearby. And when I say by myself, I mean it. I have a bell pepper plant that is thriving, but not growing any bell peppers. And that's my only living thing in my apartment besides me.
I feel like you should be a houseplant lady. I feel like you should have a lot of houseplants.
It would fit for me, but I just can't do it. I kill succulents like it's my job. Everyone says they're the easiest thing to care for, so that's what I got. And they all went down fast.
Oh.
Maybe it has something to do with like how much sun I get in my apartment,
maybe,
or something.
I have one succulent that's like, I have a succulent that's lived for like so long. It's like, I think I bought it when we bought our house. And I'll go like weeks just like forget about it. And it lives like right above my kitchen sink. So you would think that I wouldn't forget about it because I see it every day, but I forget about that plant a lot. But I think that's my only living plant right now too. I only have one. I wish I could be a houseplant lady, but.
Me too. I love the way it looks when houseplant people show me their spaces and I see all the greenery around. Mm-hmm. But right now I'm going to have to live with the fake greenery and picture frames.
I love it. It's still cute. And you update your greenery and your picture frames for the season.
I do, by season, because I love that.
That's adorable.
This is still the Christmas ones, but they're just green. They don't have any candy canes, so
it's perfect.
It's fine.
It's winter.
Winter.
All right. Well, we didn't really talk a lot about ourselves in the last podcast, I guess. So I guess we could like go a little deeper and talk about what we do for a living, because unfortunately we don't get paid to knit all day, which is sad.
I would like that.
Yeah,
we're working for it.
We do. It's just our very expensive hobby, I guess. Although I'm definitely convinced that buying yarn and knitting are 2 different hobbies.
They are. Looking at yarn in itself is a hobby, not even buying it.
Oh yeah.
Anytime I'm on social media, I'm not looking at anything but new yarn.
Mm-hmm. It's an addiction, that's for sure. So yeah, I guess I'll go first because I'm already talking. So I have like a regular desk job that's not very interesting to talk about, but the exciting thing that I do for a living is I own a dance studio. So my business partner and I opened a virtual dance studio in the middle of the pandemic. We opened in June, and we are currently working on renovating our in-person space. And we're hoping to have that open in early March. So that is what I do outside of knitting. It's not a job I can like knit and work at the same time, unfortunately. But I've been teaching dance for well over a decade at this point. And I love it. I teach 4 or 5 days a week usually. And I teach everything from ballet, jazz, tap, lyrical, musical theater, private lessons. And it's super fun. It's a really active and really rewarding job. So that's what I do for life.
Yay! I'm proud of you. I love your dance studio.
I love it too.
My job is like the exact opposite of Elizabeth's. I work as a pharmaceutical policy reporter in DC. I've been working virtually since the pandemic started, so I've been living on this couch for almost a year now. And it's a niche job. We write for an audience of pharmaceutical companies, so we don't really write for public consumption at my company. But it's fun to have this kind of inside knowledge on the regulations around developing drugs and paying for them, which is very beholden to politics. So it'll be interesting to see where we go for the next 4 years, because the last 4 years had some very democratic policies in terms of healthcare in some cases when it came to like drug pricing for Medicare. And there's some that like the Biden administration might keep that like Obama was trying to make happen, and then Trump made them happen because Republicans would get behind it for that if it was Trump. So it's a fun space to watch. It's especially fun to watch during the pandemic because there's always something new happening with clinical trials during COVID. So I like to talk about pharma policy a lot because it's what I spend my whole day thinking about. And I enjoy my job. I love the people I work with. It's a really small company. There's like 5 of us, and it's just a delightful place. Our actual office is in Georgetown, which is the hardest place in DC to get to. So the pandemic actually hasn't been that bad for me because I'm saving a ton of money in commuting costs.
Sure. I like
I'm
your
using
job
it all on
because-
yarn.
Yeah, true. I like your job, especially with like COVID vaccine development, because not only do you like, have you been following the development of the COVID vaccine, but also you already knew a lot about drug development. So when there's all those like flashy, like scary headlines, I just like text them to you and I'm like, okay, please provide context for this.
It's also fun not having had to do like a million years and $1 million worth of med school to like be able to think about this kind of stuff. So I'm definitely not a doctor and I can't provide any medical advice, but I love knowing like, oh wow, the trials for the COVID vaccines were so huge and like unheard of, and the speed was unprecedented, and being able to say that without being like, oh, I know exactly how spike proteins work, because I don't.
But yeah, it's been really helpful, like I guess calming down a lot of the sensationalism around COVID and the vaccine development. And you've been able to provide a lot of helpful context to some family members as well.
All of them, whether it's mom and dad or other people. I mean, it's so confusing. So
it is. Well, and the general public doesn't have
questions.
The general public doesn't have to like read these trials. Often. And so
they're hard to get through.
You've been really good at kind of translating into layman's terms for the rest of us, which I guess is good because that's actually your job. So
yeah, it is my job. I have to be good at that.
Cool. Well, Grace, I think you have something really exciting that you finished in the last week.
I do. I finished my Evermore sweater. It's right here. And I love it. It's super cute. I love all of the lace details all over the place. I made some mistakes throughout. There's some spots where I like forgot to yarn over and the lace work isn't perfect, but it's got the lace all down the sleeves. I did 4 I-cord bind offs, so I'm really good at them now. The only thing I'm not loving, this isn't blocked yet, so hopefully it'll work out in the blocking process, is like there's some little bunchy parts around the neckline. And I think that's more a fault of my own, of course, than the pattern. And that's because I am awful at necklines. It's my least favorite part of a project. I would rather do sleeves for years and never do it. I mean, it's so hard. Like picking up the stitches. This one, you like left the stitches active when you switched off of your raglan to start working the rest of the body. So I was like, oh, all I have to do is slip the needle back into the active stitches. But then with the neckline, it's just impossible. I hate it. I hate picking up stitches. I always end up with holes. So that's, I think, why I've bungled it a little on here. But you can't really tell when I wear it, or I tried it on pre-blocking. And I love it. It's so cute. It's so soft.
And what did you use to make it?
I made, oh gosh, I don't remember. I need to pull it up. I said it last week and then I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not going to remember anymore. Let's see. What did I use? Ushia is the name of the yarn, Marisol or something. Mirasol Ushia in the color Cappuccino. It's a bulky weight yarn. I made huge mistakes when I was buying the yarn. I don't know what I was thinking. I bought it by skein based on what the pattern designer had done instead of based on yardage, which was so stupid. So I like made it 4 skeins into the project when it called for 7. And I was like, wow, I'm like really overusing my yarn. And then I looked at the pattern again and I was like, okay, I guess I just know how to count. And I got the yarn at Black Sheep in Noblesville, there, Elizabeth's OIS, and because it wasn't right next to me, I couldn't go and pick up the rest of it. So it stayed on hold for a long time, and now it's finally done. And it's still winter, so I'm glad that I can still wear it in season.
Yes, it is so cute.
So I still have some leftover yarn. So maybe one day I'll make a bulky blanket. I have a ton of extra bulky yarn.
Could do
That's my favorite thing to knit with because it goes so quick. Oh, I could do a hat with it. You're right. I'll make a
I have a random skein of bulky, and I've been looking for a really good hat pattern. So if you find one, or if anyone out there in the internet land knows of a really good bulky hat pattern, let me know. I'm kind of thinking like a cabled hat because I love doing cables. And the skein is like this like really awesome green that I think Mom and Dad picked up for me on one of their adventures. So
that's a good one. I love nice emerald green tones in her yarns.
It's pretty. And I feel like I don't usually wear green, but now that my hair is dark, I'm not naturally dark haired, for anybody who doesn't know that already about me. But I dyed my hair dark for my 30th birthday, and I really love it. I'm never going back. But now I feel like green goes a lot better with me, or with my hair color. So I'm definitely on the green train more. Well, I also have a finished object this week. So I talked about them last week, and now they are done. These are my Spruces socks, and these are by Hygge Canyon. So I talked about them last week. So if you want more info, you can go back and watch episode 1. But they have these cute little like trees on them, little spruce trees. They used a sock set, and it was kind of fun. So when we were testing, we realized we wouldn't have enough for the toe, like the coordinating color. Because I did a full 2 inches of ribbing for the cuff. So like if I made them again and I wanted them to match, I could probably just like shorten the cuff a little bit, and then I would have plenty. So she has a variation of the pattern where you can make them coordinating instead of perfectly matching, which I really like. So
I love it.
There's this little like broken rib stripe right before the toe on both socks. And so on the second sock, you do the stripe in the coordinating color, and then the toe back in the main color, which I think is really cute. And I really like it. It gives them a little bit of like personality, I think. So definitely a fan of these. They're on my sock blockers, but I'd never actually block my socks. I don't know if that's bad. I don't know if I'm going to go to knitting jail for that, but I feel like they block on my feet. I really only got sock blockers to like display them. I love these sock blockers, by the way. I can't remember where I got them, but I got them on Etsy, and they're like handmade and really cute. And the shop, I could not find an Instagram for the shop when I bought them, but they sent me this really cute thing, or a thank you card, and it said "hank you" instead of "thank you," and it had a little hank of yarn on it. And I just thought that was so cute because I'm a sucker for a really good pun. So definitely a fan of these sock blockers. I like the ones that are like fancy, but I don't know. I just feel like there's something nice about like very like basic, sturdy. Anyway, so these are my Spruces socks. These are a test knit for Kim Jackson of Hygge Canyon. And this is the 3rd pattern I've tested for her, and I really, really love them. So, so definitely 10 out of 10 recommend on these ones. And I knit these in the Autumn in Vancouver sock set from Woolberry Fiber Company. Big fan. That's my finished object.
Yay! I love that we both have finished objects. That's never going to happen again.
Yeah, probably not. I was already thinking like, oh my gosh, if we record next week, am I going to have anything finished? Probably not.
I think maybe I will, because I have one current whip. So there's like no way I can't finish it.
Okay, well, tell me about your whips, Grace.
My current whip is singular whip, because I cast off the Evermore sweater last night at like 11 o'clock, and I haven't had time to cast anything else on. But I did wind a ball of yarn today, so we made some progress towards something. But I'll have to go into that later because I'm in the middle of a personal crisis about it. Okay, current whip is my Hibernation house socks from Lindsey Fowler. I finished the first sock like you had done last week, so we have one done, and I just love it. This yarn is so squishy and beautiful. It's the fibrous. I talked about it last week, but the fibrous in the fingering weight yarn, and then you hold together the fingering and a mohair in the cuff part, and it's beautiful. I have Sweet Georgia mohair for it in lilac because I love purple. This is my second sock. It's coming along very slowly. I didn't work on it at all this week because I really wanted to finish my Evermore, but that's my only whip.
I love it. I really want to make myself a pair.
So great. Can't recommend them enough. They're so nice.
I did buy the pattern, but I have not made them yet. Love those. Okay, I did make a little bit of progress on my whips this week. So I've still been doing the Nitty Natty Make 30 for 30 challenge. So I'm going to try to do that through the end of January on my big giant wrap. I don't have that one to show you this week because it looks exactly the same as it did last week, except for maybe I've made like 1.5 inches, maybe 2 inches of progress. I don't know. I should probably remeasure it to see how far I still have to go. But I did make progress on other things. So I am doing my Gersta, I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, but you know, whatever. Socks. These are from the 52 Weeks of Socks book. So I have made a little bit of progress on those. I put my little like mini yarn hank stitch marker in last week. So I've made about 1.5 inches of progress on the leg since last week. So that's not too bad. I'm hoping I may not have a finished object for next week, but maybe half finished if I can finish up the leg and the cuff on this, which shouldn't be too much further. And I think I'm going to do about 6 inches for the leg, and then like probably 1.5 inches or so of ribbing. I like my socks to be kind of tall. Like I am
I'm the total opposite.
My daily uniform is like leggings with like my socks pulled over them. And like a t-shirt or a sweater, like clearly like that's literally what I'm wearing.
Yeah, like this.
Like exactly what I'm wearing. So that's what so I like my socks to be kind of tall. And especially because my feet are like fairly narrow. Like I usually knit my socks. I think these are 60 stitches, but I usually knit my socks with 56 stitches on 1.5 needles. And so my feet are like kind of narrow around, and then they're not super long either. Like I'm a 7.5, 8 shoe. So I never use a ton of yarn from like my sock skein, like or from like a general like 100-gram skein of sock yarn. So I feel like I have the extra to make my socks a little bit longer, so I might as well do it. So yeah, I like my socks a little tall. And I love this little bag is so cute. It's got like yellow gingham on the inside, which is like yellow is my favorite color. And then it's like super cute on the outside. And then I have my little my Ruth Bader Ginsburg descent pin on the outside.
Oh,
I'm a big fan of that one. So that's my Gersta Socks. So I've made a little bit of progress on that. And then my other whip was my sweater for Elliot. And I have made progress on this too. So for most of the week, I really only worked on my Spruces socks because I wanted to make sure I got the other one finished. So I really just kind of picked this one back up in the last couple of days. But again, I like put a little stitch marker in so I could just kind of visually gauge how far I'd made it since last week. So I was able to get the sleeve separated, excuse me, and start working on the body. So last week I had not even started the raglan increases. So I've gotten, I don't know if we can see that little tiny stitch marker up there, but like I've made a decent amount of progress since last week, especially since I've really only worked on it for the last few days. But now I'm just on the body, so I just knit round and round and round and round and round. So it's a good like while I'm watching TV project because I really have to think about it. So I really want to have this done by the end of the month because I want her to be able to wear it while it's still cold. I mean, it'll be cold in Indiana for a while, but it would be really silly to not like finish it till the end of February and then it's spring and then she's going to probably grow out of it next year because girlfriend is like growing like a weed. We took her to the doctor for her 4-year-old checkup. She just turned 4 earlier in the month. So we took her for her 4-year-old checkup this last week and she is in the 95th percentile for height. And as someone who is 5'3", I don't really know how to do that. Like, but she's also like really skinny. So she takes after my husband. Like you, Grace, know exactly what he looks like, obviously, but the internet might not. So my husband is like 6'3" and like skinny as a rail. So it looks like she's gonna look exactly like it. She's so tall. So like I buy like 4T like leggings because that like fits her in length, but they like fall off of her butt because she's so skinny. So if anyone has really good like children's tall and skinny pant recommendations, please let me know. I think I'm just gonna have to make this longer than I usually would because if she's gonna wear it next year, like
make it dress length.
I need to make it like a tunic. See if I can get it to like cover her butt, so that way if her pants fall down, nobody will.
That's smart.
She's just ridiculously tall. So those are my whips. I've made some progress. So hopefully I'll get that sweater finished soon. Oh, and I love this bag too. So this is Grace turned me on to this Etsy shop. So actually both bags that I'm using are from there, and it's called Kitsch is the New Black, I think.
Yep.
On Etsy. And once again, I don't think I could find an Instagram for her.
I can't either.
But she has really beautiful bags. This is like a Rifle Paper Company print, and I'm a bit of a fangirl of theirs. So,
and they're very affordable.
They're so affordable.
That's the craziest part to me. It's beautiful fabric. They're made so well.
They're really, really well made. I love the like cinch top. But like she's got so many options, so many different sizes. So Kitsch is the New Black on Etsy. These are none of my actual shout outs this week, but I feel like shouting them out anyway. So so yeah, those are my whips.
Want to talk about my knitting crisis?
Yes, I do want to talk about your knitting crisis.
Okay. So when I bought the yarn for my Evermore sweater in Noblesville with Elizabeth, I also wanted to make an In Stillness sweater by Alicia Plummer. And I made the same exact mistake as I did with the Evermore sweater in that I did not buy the right quantity of yarn. I don't know what drug I was on that day, but I just had no idea what I was buying. I needed 5 or 6 skeins of what I ended up getting, and I have 4. So that's the first problem. I can't make the In Stillness. The second problem is I've been looking at the yarn for a while, and I don't think I like it anymore. So I'm disappointed in myself for that, and I need to find something that makes my heart soar with this yarn. So I will show it in a second. I'm thinking I'm either going to make a garnered cardi by Alicia Plummer with it, or because she's doing a knit along with that right now for her garnered stuff, and I'm down for that. I love a good knit along. It would be my first knit along, but I would love it. Or I'm going to try and find a shawl in worsted weight that I could make with it. Okay. This is what it looks like. I caked one up today because I was trying to see if I would like it better when it's caked up versus when it's in a hank. It's like pretty jewel tones, and it's like mermaidy to me. It's like it's got some lighter blues with some darker blues, and then we fade into purple. We also have my hair all over it. It's not an ugly yarn. It's Malabrigo Rios, but I'm just not loving it anymore. This is how it looks caked up. This is how it looks in a hank. I just don't know what to do. I'm having a crisis with it. I'm going to swatch it today to see if I like how the yarn pools and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm just not feeling it, and I'm bummed out about it. And I want to make something with it because I want to see if I like it. But like that color is good for me.
It is.
Purples and greens and blues. I'm frustrated and I'm sad about it.
I can see not using it
shawls all day.
Yeah, I can see not using it for like the In Stillness sweater. Like,
yeah, I like the way it looks in a solid better now as I look at the pattern more. I don't want a variegated with it. I could see doing a garnered in a variegated color just because it's the garnered looks to me like a pattern that would be nice to just throw on. And she has it in a linen and a wool option for making the pattern. And this is obviously wool, so I could see it. And I could see just throwing it on with that color. and it would need to be a topper kind of item or finishing piece is what style people would probably call it.
Yeah.
Because it's so colorful, and I'm wearing one right now, but I don't tend to wear super colorful tops.
Yeah. Okay.
Feeling unsettled about it. I would like to love it before I start knitting something with it.
Right. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna look for
just need to put it out in the open so that the world knows that Grace is having a crisis of yarn.
Yes.
Because I am.
It'll be gotta own up. You'll find the perfect thing for it.
I will. I agree.
It'll end up beautiful.
Or I'll make 4 baby sweaters.
Or make 4 baby
sweaters. just whip up 4 baby sweaters and give them away when my friends start to get pregnant.
It works.
There's an option.
I know we had one of my coworkers at my regular person desk job just announced this last week that she is expecting. So I'm gonna have to whip up a little baby sweater for her. They are finding out the gender of the baby, so I might use that to guide my yarn choices, or I might not. I don't know. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited for her. So we're definitely gonna have to make something. My fun fact of the week is that at my job, they everybody goes by a nickname. Nobody is called by their actual first name. And so my nickname is Tink or Tinkerbell because I usually wear my hair in a bun on top of my head, which made my boss think of Tinkerbell. And for some reason, I never realized that Tink is knit backwards.
Yeah, I learned that in my first knitting class, but I didn't comprehend it for Tinkerbell.
Yeah, I instinctively I knew it because you go backwards, you tink back,
you're tinking.
Obviously, you're knitting backwards, but yeah. So I just I rediscovered that fact this week, and so I of course announced it to my team. I was like, you guys, I just realized this, and of course with the spotlight that knitwear has had this week in the news, thanks to Bernie Sanders, everybody has been sending me all the knitting things all week, and one of them recently found the crocheted Bernie, which I wish I could remember who made it, but it's amazing, and I believe she actually released a pattern for it, and one of my coworkers was like, Tink, if you make this, I'll pay you $150. I was like, I can make that out of some Red Heart Super Saver. So,
yeah.
So pay up, mister.
Exactly.
Cool. Did you buy any yarn this week, Grace?
I did not. I have no acquisitions for this week other than patterns. I did buy some patterns.
I bought yarn this week.
What did you buy?
I bought it for a good reason.
Oh no, I know what yarn you bought.
You know what I bought.
I do,
because I'm very excited. For the first time I am testing my very first sweater pattern, and I am testing it for somebody we've mentioned already this week, the incredible Alicia Plummer. So I'm really excited. I don't know how much we're supposed to talk or not talk about the pattern. She's posted photos of it because it was a public test call, so I'm guessing that we can talk about it, but I won't share too much. But it is a colorwork sweater, and I love doing colorwork, so I'm super excited. The only other colorwork sweater I've done, well, I guess I've done 2 colorwork sweaters. I did one by Jen Steingast, which was for our mom, and then I've done the Sadaltna crop, the Caitlin Hunter, which I actually don't really wear very often. I love the colors and I love the pattern, but I don't love the way it looks on me. But I really I love it. Every time I see it in my closet, I pet it. I don't actually wear it very often.
It's so pretty. The colors you picked are gorgeous for that one.
I love the colors. I did it in shades of blue and a mustard yellow, which again, yellow is my favorite color. So anyway, so it's a color sweater. I'm hoping that I'll actually wear it a little bit more. And I'm really excited for what I bought. So I'm going to show you. So it involves 5 colors. And I thought I knew what I wanted, and I went to my LIS to order what I wanted because I wanted to do it all in Rios. And my local yarn shop owner, Verena, was like, let's see if they even have it, because apparently it's really hard to get Rios right now, which I didn't know. So it turns out all the colors I wanted, we couldn't get, or we couldn't get in the quantities that I would need. So Verena, being the amazing human and miracle worker that she is, helped me come up with a combo, and I'm super excited about it. She's just amazing. So my main color is going to be this Malabrigo Rios. This is an ivory. So it's literally just
that color.
Ivory. It's beautiful and I love it. And then there are 4 other like coordinating colors. And so Alicia recommends Spin Cycle. And Grace and I had this long conversation about how we would love to be the kind of people who could like do a whole sweater in Spin Cycle, but that's very expensive. So my shop carries Painted Sky, which is, I feel like, poor man's Spin Cycle. Like poor knitter's Spin Cycle. Not that like it's cheap or whatever, like it's still good yarn. But I'm really excited about it. It's 100% wool, so, and she said that they work really nicely together. So these two, I believe, will be right next to each other in the pattern. So there's like a blue and a green. So this one is Painted Sky in the Glacier Cave colorway, which is really pretty. Like, I don't know if you can see all the like kind of twisty
I see it.
yarn in there. And then that will likely be next to this Malabrigo, which is, I don't even know how to pronounce this colorway. Aguas, maybe. It's kind of watery, like, so it's like a teal with like some lighter green in there. It's really pretty. So those will be next to each other in the pattern. And then there are other 2 coordinating colors. So I did like half Malabrigo and half Painted Sky, which wasn't intentional, but so this one is also Painted Sky in the Rose Garden colorway.
That's so you.
It's so me. And then this one is Malabrigo in the colorway Whole Grain. And I really liked the version of this that I saw online, but the color card online looks nothing like this. So I don't know if this is just like a wonky skein or whatever. Like, you can kind of see in here, there's like more gray, which is what it looked like online. But out here, it's like more of a blushy kind of color. So I think those will look kind of nice next to each other.
Agreed.
So that's what I bought this week. And we're supposed to be getting the pattern either tonight or tomorrow. So that will be my next cast on. I am going to swatch for it just to make sure I like all the colors in the order that I am envisioning them. But I have like just enough yarn, so I probably won't like block my swatch. I'll probably just like check it to make sure it's close and then unpick it and use it in the actual pattern, because I don't want to run out of yarn. I don't like playing yarn chicken. It makes me real nervous. So same. Those are my acquisitions, which did I really need to buy new yarn? Well, yes, I did, because I got picked to test.
Yeah, you didn't have enough worsted.
And I don't have a big worsted stash. Like, I like fingering weight in my stash because it doesn't take up as much room. But worsted skeins are huge. And if you're gonna have a sweater quantity, like, this takes up a lot of
yarn.
So yeah, I like walked in with the bag of yarn and I was like, don't let my husband see me. Don't let my husband see me. He doesn't care. I don't know why I'm weird about that. So that's what I bought this week. I'm very excited to cast that on. So, and it's a worsted sweater. I've never knit with, like, I've never done a worsted weight sweater before. I've only done DK. And I guess I did a fingering weight sweater for Elliot because that was tiny. So it should hopefully work out fairly quickly. We have 6 weeks, I think, for the test, but I'm hoping that it won't take me 6. So
I'm so excited for that sweater. I can't wait for you to make it, and then I can't wait for me to make it when the pattern comes out. I'm definitely doing that one. It's so pretty.
And she has a short sleeve and a long sleeve option, but I think I might do them more like bracelet length, kind of like you did for your Alicia Plummer knit. Just because, like, obviously I'm constantly pushing my sleeves up and I hate when they're too long, and I have short arms anyway, little dinosaur arms. So yeah, I'm excited. So I'm hopeful that this will fit better and I'll wear it more often than do my other sweaters. Because it's my one gripe. Like, one thing that I really want to do this year is knit more sweaters that I actually wear.
It's a good goal.
Yeah, I'm gonna try, and it will probably take some trial and error to figure out like the fit that I like and
Yep.
all that good stuff. That's a goal for me.
It's a good goal.
I think so too. All right, moving on. What's next?
Yes.
Shoutouts?
Is it? I don't know.
It is shoutouts.
Okay.
Do you want to give your knitting related shout out?
I'll do my knitting related one. Okay, so my knitting related shout out this week is to Helen Stewart because she is launching the Handmade Socks Society 4. She launched the link to sign up for it and buy the patterns on Ravelry, and I think she uses another platform as well on Friday. And this is my first time doing it, and I'm really excited because I'm still, I guess, a relatively new sock knitter. I'm only on my 5th pair, so I'm not totally great at them yet. Yeah, as I think about it, I'm like, I made 2 for myself. Oh no, 6. Because I made 2 for myself and I've made 3 for other people. And now I'm on my 3rd pair for myself. Anyway, I'm really excited because I think her sock patterns are really dainty and beautiful. And she did a sale on her sock patterns, and I've been eyeing those darn Cornish cream tea socks forever. And I finally got them, and I can't wait to make them. And then I'm so excited to make all the new patterns that come with Handmade Sock Society 4. So she releases 6 patterns over 6 months, and they're all mystery sock patterns. So you sign up ahead of time, or I think you can sign up throughout, but it's better to sign up ahead of time because you get a discount. So it was like 10 Australian dollars. Do they use the pound? I'm not sure.
I think it's
like
Australian
$15. Okay. It was like 15 American dollars, US dollars to get access to the 6 patterns, and she'll release them over the next 6 months. And I'm very excited. I did one Helen Stewart design before this. It was my first shawl, and it's by far the worst product I will ever make because I did not swatch for a shawl, which I was told makes sense, not just from you, also from Helen Stewart's blog. And she said you could do it, but you didn't have to. So I made oh my gosh.
It's funnier every time I look at it.
It honestly is so funny. This was supposed to be a single skein shawl. I used probably a quarter of the skein. And as I was casting it up, I was like, wow, this is like Elizabeth's daughter's size. I haven't weaved in the ends because I was just beyond myself when I realized what I had done.
Why?
I'm not discouraged by the fact that I failed miserably at my first shawl altogether, and then my first Helen Stewart design, because I can respect the fact that she was not writing for Mano Still Uruguay Fino. She was working with something else that did not have this fiber content, and I knew nothing about gauge when I did it. So this was a great learning experience. It's very soft and beautiful. Eventually, I'm gonna go and pick up these stitches and just make it bigger and finish off the skein. But yeah, I love it. I think this is the funniest thing that's ever happened. And
the thing is that yarn is like, it's so beautiful.
It really is. It's just stunning, like variegated, really light pastel greens and blues. It's got this beautiful lace work on it.
It's beautiful.
It's a great skein of yarn. Inexpensive. But yeah. I bungled it. We tried to try it on Elizabeth's daughter, and she was like, ew, I'm not wearing that. Okay, yeah.
Okay, but
this
now
is a
she's
little Meg
obsessed
shawl,
with shawls.
but do it better if you try it. Yeah, I love shawls now.
Yeah, Elliot's obsessed with them now. She like made me make her one. So I made myself a Bennett sister shawl. And Elliot was like very adamant that she wanted one. And I actually think that the one I ended up making her is probably about that size. I just like cut the Bennett
sister pattern. She can have it
pattern.
if she wants it.
Yeah, so I ended up cutting the Bennett sister like pattern in half. Actually, I should like show that on the podcast one of these weeks. And so it's pretty tiny, but like it works as like a little scarf for her. It's adorable. I still have to add the tassels onto it. I also have to fix the tassels on my Bennett sister shawl because I accidentally got the center one caught in something and it like pulled itself off. So I have to I still have it. I just have to like reattach it, which shouldn't take too long. But anyway, yeah. So Elliot loves shawls now. She might wear it. But I want you to finish off that skein again because it's so beautiful.
I want some redemption for this. I feel like that's.
You could even just like unpick it.
Redemption is really waiting to happen.
Yeah, you could even just unpick it and like make something completely different with it.
Yeah, I could do that.
I mean,
it's a beautiful skein yarn. It feels so nice.
So pretty. I actually really like that green with the orange you're wearing right now.
Ooh. Yeah.
It's pretty.
Tones it down a little.
It does.
Yeah.
Okay,
so that's my knitting related shout out. Sock Society.
My knitting related shout out this week is not nearly as specific, but we kind of referenced it earlier. And so my knitting related shout out is to every single like knitter, crocheter, like designer who whipped up birdie mittens so fast.
So fast.
So like, fast.
Not even hours from seeing it. There were patterns on Ravelry.
I was like looking at his mittens and I was like, oh my God, I need that pattern. And then I was like, you know what? The internet's probably already on it. So I believe they were actually cut mittens out of like a colorwork sweater. It appears based on the maker's stuff. But of course people have created patterns for it. So I think I will definitely have to make myself a pair of Bernie mittens. I don't have the yarn for it. I haven't bought a pattern yet. But it's just such a cultural moment at this point. The Bernie memes have literally been getting me through the week. There's so many and they're so funny and they are. And I just love Bernie Sanders. And what I really love is that he, one, is not afraid to laugh at himself. But two, he was able to take that moment. They like put him on a sweatshirt on his like site. It's called the Chairman Bernie sweatshirt, which I think is amazing. And it's sold out within like hours. They sold it for like $45 a sweatshirt. It's like been restocked and sold out twice within like minutes. And he donated 100% of the proceeds to Meals on Wheels Vermont, which I really love. And I think that's just such a Bernie thing to like seize on something that's become like a cultural moment, not be afraid to laugh at himself, but also turn it into something really positive for his community. So I just thought that was great. So like props to all the internet knitters and crocheters, sorry, I don't mean to exclude, who created Bernie mitten patterns so quickly. I can't wait to make one eventually. So yay. So yes, the Bernie mittens.
So funny.
My favorite thing of the week. Thank you for bringing knitwear into the spotlight. And especially juxtaposed against like the amazing inauguration fashion that happened.
Yeah.
I also saw, I can't remember. I know that Neighborhood Fiber Company did like some highlights with like yarn colors that matched a lot of the coats and awesome things. And then there was somebody else, can't remember who it is off the top of my head, but they just like, I was scrolling through Instagram before we started recording and they were doing like a mini skein set inspired by like all the coats of the inauguration. So definitely thought that was awesome. So yes, inauguration fashion in all its forms gets my shout out this week.
That's a good one. Yes. My non-knitting related one is literally everyone who suffers from migraines. I got my first migraine this week and it was garbage. It was horrible. Brandon gets migraines. Our mom gets migraines. I'm pretty sure you get migraines sometimes.
Very rarely, but
or you've at least had one. My gosh, for people who really have to deal with that on a regular basis, my heart goes out to you because I had what must have been a very mild migraine because it went away. It's a great story. I had to post. I ran out of like ibuprofen and Tylenol at my house. So like a true city girl, I postmated ibuprofen to my house at 2:00 in the afternoon on a Tuesday. It was wretched. I just can't say enough about like I got so nauseous. and my head hurt so bad. And I remember thinking, like, how does Brandon, when he gets a migraine, just lay in bed for hours and not sleep? Like, how is he not so bored? Doesn't he feel tempted to look at his phone? And then I laid in my bed for 3 hours just trying to breathe. I was like, I get it now. So if you get migraines, I'm really sorry. And I hope drug development gets even better for you because it's an active space and it sucks. It hurts so bad. And then it went away like once I took a couple of Advil PM. So it clearly wasn't that bad. It wasn't even at the point where I needed to take Excedrin.
Wow.
But golly, that was not fun.
No. My non-knitting related shout out is also health related. So my non-knitting shout out this week is to my massage therapist, Jason. Thank you, Jason. You are the real MVP. One of the best things I've ever done for myself is go get massages regularly. And I've had like also kind of a weird week health wise. I had a really bad like drug reaction to some Sudafed. And so in addition to just like needing to go get a massage every month, my body has just been like achy and like awful. And I carry all of my tension in my neck anyway. And then like this reaction just made that like a million times worse. So thankfully I already had an appointment scheduled for today. And I just always leave there feeling just so much better. So massages every month. And I always go to the same therapist. He's the best. So if you're near Indianapolis, let me know. I'll get you a referral to Jason because he is the actual best. So yeah, that's my non-knitting related shout out. But especially when we like sit here and we like knit for so long with like our necks, like I needed that worked out and he got me. So he's the best. Cool. Yeah. All right, should we do our top three?
Yes, I'm ready for my top three. This week is
Oh, go ahead.
Are you gonna go? Okay. This week our top three is vegetables. Our top three vegetables. Would you like to go first or shall I?
Yeah, I'll go first because this is like you thought of this one. And I texted Grace after the last podcast. I said, what's our next top three gonna be? And she's like, should we do like normal things or should we do weird things? And I said, the weirder the better. She goes, okay, let's do vegetables. So yes, my top three favorite vegetables. So in third place, I have cucumbers. I love cucumbers. I love to snack on cucumbers. I love to dip them in all kinds of different dippings. I don't know, not dipping sauces. That sounds weird, but I love to dip them in hummus. I love to dip them in ranch. I love to I just
so
love
versatile
cucumbers. I love them on salads. I love them plain. I love cucumbers. I tried to grow cucumbers in my garden last summer and I learned a lot about gardening last summer. Like, for example, I learned that squash vines out like a lot and that you maybe shouldn't plant it next to other things that also vine out. Like it needs its space is what I learned. And I learned that cucumbers basically do the same thing. And then I also learned that there are things called squash bugs. And if you don't treat for squash bugs, they like come seemingly out of nowhere. I literally have no idea where it came from. And they inject all of your squash with poison, and then your squash turns black and dies. And I learned that if you don't get that, I know, I only got 2 spaghetti squash out of my like plants last summer because they actually vined over onto my deck. And I think maybe the squash bugs like live in the soil. I don't know. I really don't know. Somebody please correct me if I'm wrong. But the ones that grew over on my deck had no squash bugs and they were awesome. We ate them for dinner. They were delicious, but I only got 2 the whole summer. But I also learned that if you don't get rid of the squash bugs, after they've killed all of the squash, they will kill your other plants too. So after the squash bugs killed all my spaghetti squash, they moved over to my cucumbers and they killed all my cucumbers too. So I had these like amazing growing cucumbers, like they were like a foot long, but they like weren't ripe yet. And before they could ripen, the squash bugs moved over and they killed them all. So I tried to grow cucumbers and I failed So if
Nasty
anyone has really
things.
great gardening tips for how to not get squash bugs, I am all ears. Because I plan on doing a garden again next year. I learned a lot. I had a lot of fun. But I'm really sad that I didn't get any like homegrown cucumbers because clearly they are my third favorite vegetable. My second favorite vegetable is Brussels sprouts. I don't know why
Great one.
Brussels sprouts
Great
get
one.
such a bad rap. I don't. They're so good. Um, so my favorite ways to eat Brussels sprouts are like roasted with balsamic vinegar.
The best.
So good. And then I'm also obsessed with the half baked harvest. So Tegan Gerard is like I'm totally a fangirl. But she has a recipe in one of her cookbooks for cacio e pepe Brussels sprouts. And it's so good. It's literally just like Parmesan cheese and a ton of pepper. And they are so good. Like I'm getting hungry thinking about them right now. I love Brussels sprouts. I don't know why they get a bad rap. They're delicious. Maybe like nobody knew how to prepare them when our parents were kids, so they refused to eat them. I don't know, but they're so good. So Brussels sprouts are my number two. And then my number one vegetable is sweet potatoes. I actually did research to make sure that potatoes were considered vegetables. And according to everything I could find, they are. Um, they're like, I feel like they're the most versatile vegetable. Like you can eat them as fries. You can eat them plain. You can eat them roasted. You can eat them mashed. You can eat them as dessert. You can eat them as like savory. They're so good. So I've never had a sweet potato recipe that I did not like. They are amazing.
Wow. That's impressive. Yeah. Sweet potatoes are really good. All of your vegetables are really good.
I love vegetables.
It was
All right,
very
Grace,
hard to narrow down to it was hard to narrow down to the top three. I wanted to put Brussels sprouts in mine as well, but ultimately I did not. My number
I'm glad I
three.
covered them for you.
Yeah, I am too. Because I have the same issue as you where it's like I just don't know why. Everyone said Brussels sprouts were so bad when we were growing up. And then everyone collectively just was like, wait, it's actually a pretty good vegetable. You just need to know how to cook it. I don't know what they were doing to cook them before. Roasting vegetables is the easiest thing I've ever done. It's the only thing I cook. Roast vegetables and I can make pasta. That's like all I know. Anyway, great job, Brussels sprouts. Very proud of them. I guess kind of similar to Brussels sprouts because my favorite thing to do is to mix these with Brussels sprouts. My number three is the bell pepper. My personal favorite is red bell peppers, but I will also settle for orange and yellow. Not a big fan of green bell peppers. There's just something about them that's like, if I'm going to eat a green vegetable, I want it to be a true green vegetable. The green bell pepper is just like a bell pepper that hasn't ripened to me yet. Like the green ones turn into red ones. So just wait for it. They get sweeter.
Mm-hmm.
Love bell peppers. Love them roasted. They're nice and sweet. I actually really, it gets a top in a spot in my top three, but I really don't like them raw. So really, I only like them cooked, but I like them enough cooked that they make the top three. So bell peppers, number three. Number two is your number three, the cucumber. They're delightful. I love how crisp they are. One of my favorite meals to have for lunch is chopping up some cucumber, cutting a couple of cherry tomatoes, getting a little roasted chicken, and like half an avocado, put it in a bowl together, put some hen parts on it, add some salt and pepper, and you're good. And one of Brandon's favorite snacks is just uh, cucumbers and tomatoes with salt and pepper on them, and then you're done. It's a great little snack. So
Also, I forgot to
cucumber's
mention
great.
cucumbers in water. Like, come on.
Yeah,
So fresh.
that is a good one. Super fresh. Great one. Love the cucumber. And then my number one is zucchini because I first fell in love with zucchini when our childhood neighbor, who is still our parents' neighbor, makes the best fried zucchini I will ever have in my whole life. I've tried to make them like her. I can't do it. She just has some sort of magic touch. She makes fried zucchini like no one else. Really good. But then also, I love that zucchini is similar to the sweet potato. It's very versatile. You can make it in boats and put food inside of it. You can just roast them and have them plain like that. I mean, they're good. I love a zucchini. And then I have to give honorable mention to my other two favorite fruits that we all kind of consider vegetables, which are tomatoes and avocados.
Yes.
Like no one looks at an avocado and is like, avocados and strawberries in my fruit salad.
Yeah, no.
Avocado is a vegetable. It's not a fruit, even though science says it's a fruit. And same with tomatoes. No one puts tomatoes in their fruit salad.
No, that would be silly.
That would be silly. So yeah, top 3.
Love it. All right. If anyone's watching and has requests for things that we should do for our top 3, please comment.
Let us know.
And tell us what we should do, because it's really fun to rank arbitrary things.
It is.
I think
it's
way
fun
too
to have
much
to put
about
so
it.
much thought into it. Because yeah, the vegetables were hard. So many. Broccoli used to be my number 1, but in the past 5 years, it's dropped off the top 3.
Yeah, I had a really hard time choosing. Like, I also really wanted to put celery in there because, like, I feel like celery also gets a bad rap. I feel like a lot of people really hate it, but I love celery. So I guess that's my like
super
honorable mention. I know, it's so good.
And it goes in everything. People put it in chicken salad. They eat it plain. You eat it with ants on a log.
Yeah. Hummus. Yeah, I do like our grocery store will do like the prepared like little things of vegetables, and they always have like carrots and celery, and I'll like grab that and a thing of hummus and just like go to town.
So tasty.
And slightly healthier than eating like pita chips with my hummus.
Yeah.
Which, let's be real, I love pita chips too. So
those are good.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think that's all we have as far as
I think so.
for stuff for today. So thanks for watching. You can find us in all the places, I guess. So on Instagram, we are Sister Knitting Society, which is where we post together. And then on Instagram, all my knitting stuff is on Cinnamon and Spice Knits, which I also have like a little Etsy shop where I do like little stitch markers, but I really just post knitting content on there. And then I am on Ravelry as EA Pike.
And I'm on Instagram and Ravelry as @Grace Moser. So nice and easy.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. I feel really weird saying this, but if you like our podcast, please subscribe to our channel like that. And if you want to be notified when we post new videos, you can click the little alarm bell. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. I think that's it. And leave us a comment. Tell us what we should rank next, because this is fun. Right. Well, I guess we'll record again next week.
See you next time.